All right, so before we run out of time, the next story I also found interesting. And I think it's, for those of us who have not seen it firsthand, it might be heavily based on our opinion and speculation. But not just the Chief Secretary, but I believe also Martin George have come out and claimed that licensing officers are coming to Tobago from Trinidad in large numbers. I think the Chief Secretary, he described it as a horde of licensing officers. And they're engaging in very, to the rule, strict, we're going to ticket you for whatever we could find. And while technically one could say, okay, if this is just how we're going to police the roads on a general basis moving forward, that might be fine. Although the ASP has said, a lot of the population would not be ready if they be a stickler to the rules and hold the people strictly to the rules all the time. But I think what the Chief Secretary was indicating was that it seemed as though this is a temporary thing where licensed officers come from Trinidad to have like a quota or something, deal with that real fast. And it might have been, I believe, during the Easter vacation as well. So they're looking to catch people from Trinidad. So you come in from Trinidad, en masse, just to try to see how much tickets you could give out. This is not how you're going to police your roads. This is just you doing a money grab.
So there are a couple of things. One, I think that's an excellent initiative by licensing officers, but only if it applies to Trinidad as well. It cannot be something that is only being utilized in Tobago.
Right.
It has to be utilized in Trinidad, because I'm of the opinion that even if it's a minor offense, you can warn an individual. For example, if you have a scratch on your number plate, that's an offense, by the way.
The implication is that they don't do warnings.
No.
It's just straight to tickets.
Listen, the thing is, if you have a scratch on your number plate or part of your number plate is missing or broken, that's an offense. And the thing is, if your number plate is broken, you should make every effort. If you can afford to fill up your car with gas, you can afford to pay for a brand new number plate, which is not very costly. You have to make certain sacrifices now. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's something that you have to do. People also need to understand that they've gotten away too long for very simple things that could equate to bigger things. Brake lights, for example, and not having your vehicle. And I've seen some vehicles that have not been, that I want to know if they're roadworthy. They don't have any inspection stickers, but they're still on the streets of Trinidad. So the thing is, I think it's a good thing in Tobago. It should apply to Trinidad as well. Well, the flip side about it is the mere fact that it's been raised by the Chief Secretary. I mean, Martin George raised it as well.
Yes.
Right? And sometimes you can think that Mr. George could, in his own way or in his own right, as a politician. I mean, who isn't a politician anymore? But the mere fact that it's raised by the Chief Secretary, I'm wondering if he is suggesting that this is persecution and a deliberate means to try and stifle Tobagonians.
Well, I don't necessarily, I don't think it's a thing against Tobagonians, as opposed to my question is, because I get it, if you want to be stricter, that's fine. But why are you going to be stricter by sending extra officers to one part of the country? You see, it's not as though these are the licensed officers that are in Tobago being stricter.
This is why I said it should apply to Trinidad as well.
Right, and that's the thing. Sending these extra officers, it implies to me that, well, look, we have a quota. Because there were rumors about the TTPS handing out tickets for road vehicle inspections for quota purposes, as opposed to saying...
And they haven't collected that as yet.
Well...
Yeah. But it's a very valuable point that you raised. If we need to raise a certain amount of money, we're going to implement, we're going to actually distribute so many tickets that it reaches that quota. The next thing is whether or not we're actually going to get paid these tickets.
My problem is you're not enforcing any laws with the motivation of we want the laws to be enforced and followed. We're enforcing the laws because we won't need more money.
Well, we're assuming.
Right. But again, you don't send extra licensing officers on a temporary basis on an exercise like this. Again, if it was that the licensing officers that are in Tobago were stricter as a policy, even if it didn't happen in Trinidad, are much more willing to give that the benefit of the doubt and accept that than saying, oh, we're going to send extra officers and they're going to go and whatever minor infraction you have, we ticket and everything.
I'm sorry, I actually think this is a good thing. But I think that if we want to remove the guise of persecution, it needs to be enacted in Trinidad and Tobago as well.
Okay, just think about it this way. We know that licensed officers sell licenses, and to the point where they might fail you if you don't buy it.
Well, we can't really say that, can we? I mean, have you...
We've already said that on air once.
No. I've said there's been allegations of that. I am not going to... Because I haven't met a licensed officer.
There are allegations, right. Because to be fair, it's not as though I paid a licensed officer either. So I can't even directly say to my own experience that I have done that, so I know it exists. But the fact of the matter is, those allegations are there. That is part of the context, because these allegations don't come from a few things that happen once in a while or once in a blue moon. These are ongoing allegations that are so well known to the public. It's almost like, well, you know who the gang members are, and you know the licensed officers who charging for licenses, who selling licenses, right? We have the intelligence, we're just not doing anything about it. So that is the context that I will now have to judge exercises like this. I don't expect the public to say, oh no, it's fine, this is great.
Sean, the public says that all the time, because rather than make the report that the licensing officer has, he's asking for a bribe or I have to pay for my license, they pay for the license.
Folks, we have to take a break. When we come back, we're going to hit more of the international economy, then afterwards come back to the crime symposium with our guest this morning. And of course, phone lines after the news break at 9. Stay tuned. Lots more talking point here on WESN HD. We'll be right back.